Oh man, I know I've been on the road with speedster type stuff lately, but I guess let's continue, right? Eobard Thawne. He's a brilliant physicist of the 25th century. Oh, but wait a second, before I go any farther, I have to give a shout out to those that have donated to the channel. It really does help out a lot, believe it or not. These characters have a lot of continuity, so I guess I go over some from the pre-crisis era and then go to the post-crisis era, stuff like that to move it on up, you know what I mean? I'm gonna try to get to the major points though, because these characters have a lot of feats, you know what I mean? A time capsule from the 25th century appeared. Inside of it was the uniform of the superhero Flash. Thawne stole it, grew to like the Flash's power, so he ended up replicating him. Yeah, he's pretty smart intelligence-wise, eventually having his own life ending, but that's after Reverse Flash fell in love and murdered Barry's wife, you know, Barry Allen's wife. Yeah, he's crazy. And he tried to do the same thing to Hick's next wife. Doing this is what attempted in him to actually die. You know what I mean? During the pre-crisis era, things wasn't as structured, so there's been multiple different explanations on how he got his powers. But is that really important? You know what I mean? At first, it was his costume. Then it was Element Z. Then he was able to generate super speed with his body. But for the most part, I would say him having a costume or requiring a costume is one of his most consistent themes, I would say, right? Maybe with Element Z and innate speed being one-offs in the Silver Age or something like that. You know what I mean? That awkward moment when he stomps the rogues. Haha. Tell me that isn't epic. But wait a minute. That was actually Abracadabra impersonating him. So no. Yeah, I'm just starting off the feet run trolling. Okay, let me get serious now. All right.
Eobard Thawne, right? Barry said you're some kind of time traveler.
Yeah, and let me tell you about the future. You think you're immortal, but in my time, Diana, you're quite dead.
Reverse Flash is one of those characters where it's easy to underestimate his other attributes other than his raw speed, punching power, and things of that sort because he's got all these powers. But the crazy part is he has all this stuff and intellect. Remember that thing known as Element Z that I told you about earlier? He was able to discover this element to give him supposedly super speed. This dude is smart enough to turn his astral projection into flesh and blood for him to be able to kind of find a way to travel through time. That's pretty freaking smart if you ask me. I know this is a little wonky, but he creates the science of, one would say, ultra speed. It's based on the idea that by speeding up electrons and other subatomic particles to fantastic rates, I can create machines with effects never before seen on Earth. Yeah, that sounds kind of wacky. This machine that I'm working on, if my calculations are correct, when I focus it on someone, it will make whatever evil there is in a person flourish like sunlight makes a plant grow. It's a machine that encourages evil by its radiation. Reprograms a cerebral scanner that it can appear reformed. He's done enough research to deduce that Flash traveled accurately through time. He even has beams that can fire from the 20th century backwards in time to the 20th century. That's pretty freaking sick. He's all about that self-improvement, growing strength under his mental power. He even got his own base. This guy adjusted an electric shaver into a matter distributor that makes him look identical to Barry Allen. This dude's obsessed. I don't even know how you even get this smart, but he evidently devised a plan or a plot to where the universe will be destroyed if Flash and his wife Iris come in contact. Look what Jay Garrick said. If my fellow Flash goes near her, it'll mean the total destruction of all time and space. Even says down here, and if the advanced science of the 30th century cannot cure her, Barry must never see his wife again. They got out of this stuff by the skin of their teeth. It says how Jay Garrick whisked the unknown Miss Allen to Earth 2 and not a millisecond to spare. Had to take her to Earth 2. Let's face it, he's a butt. He likes to use tidal waves as a distraction. He's just villainous stuff. Like I told you earlier, he has different ideas of how he got his power, coated in a special chemical that mimics Flash's natural immunity to friction, you know, like the aura. It's even stated here, I can't hurt you, but you can't capture me either. Our speeds are equal. It's a stalemate. Just in case anybody had their doubts, it was just straight up stated that he can move at speeds of light, obviously. It states here. Oh, by the way, his name is also called Professor Zoom in the lore. You know, just don't get confused with another being other than Eobard. Zoom also possessed the telepathic powers and devised the science of ultra speed, by the way. It was also stated that these men are the fastest men alive. That should be no shock. Any Flash should be that, right? And he can super speed spin to remove a disguise. And alongside Barry, it is confirmed that he has the fastest feet alive. There was even this time Barry even encountered in his memory that there was a point in time where Zoom, aka Reverse Flash, was passing him in raw speed if he were standing still. Pretty insane speed. I would say, wouldn't you? Another occasion of his raw speed, it was even stated that the Flash could barely even catch up to him. Too fast for the eye can see. He's so fast he can commit crimes around the world, zipping all over the place. Stealing stuff, robbing stuff, stealing artifacts. It even states the places here: Mexico City, Honolulu. Another occasion of them circling the planet. He can even carve up a mountain. This is kind of creative, artistic stuff. To carve up a mountain, like, that's pretty cool, like art style, like a literal face. Speed Force people, you already know they have like time travel and they can go through time. He's committed crimes throughout different eras of time. You see 2069, 2169, 2269, 2369. You know what I'm saying? He did have mental abilities. This is kind of a dangerous combination with the super speed, invading folks' mind. You know what I'm saying? He has plenty of battle feats with the Flash, been able to land multiple hits on him, just to be able to keep up with him in speed in general. Just standard stuff you would expect. No eye or camera can register their raw speed. Police try to actually hit him with blasts. He just blocks it casually. He can create a vacuum that pulls the Flash by yanking his arm in a certain way. Like I went over in my Flash videos, he can vibrate so fast he can like go through objects, even objects made of light like Green Lantern objects, people that are easily able to destroy planets with their blast power. He can even vibrate through a concrete floor. He can even create counter vibration. He can even turn invisible by vibrating so fast. Intangibility, basically, by vibrating inside people's heads, stuff like that. Even people that have vibration skills, he was able to vibrate so fast where their blows pass through him. Did I mention that his mental abilities can actually KO the Flash? Knock him out. Oh yeah, I'm back to this image again. It also states in his powers and weapons thing that he has complete mental control of his atoms and molecules and things like that. If you haven't already, to really complement this video even more to get an idea of how much power he got or can produce, velocity, you might want to check out my Barry Allen video I have on the channel as well. Kind of helps complement on how crazy he is. He can throw rocks so fast they hit like basically shrapnel. The guy was able to vibrate through a myriad of never-ending frequencies. He was able to save a whole bunch of supervillains by vibrating into another place. It states here, we were trapped between Earths where we remained for the past half year until a happy change of fortune led us into contact with the Justice League's transmatter machine, which they used to use themselves for travel between parallel worlds. It states here, if I hadn't used my superpowers to track down the transmitted vibrational frequency, we'd still be stuck hanging around in the middle of nowhere. He's able to put in work against Superwoman, avoid the lasso, stuff like that. People that supposedly should be in the Wonder Woman tier. Heck, even Power Rings can't track him. This dude got geared to where if he needed to get extra velocity, he has like these electro rockets to give him an extra boost of acceleration. Just in case I'm not fast enough, right? And yes, he has his own copy of the cosmic treadmill, so he can travel through time when he wants to. Has a straight full-blown matter distributor, which can make rope out of thin air. It can even create trees and a ball chain. This ain't fair, man. It also perfectly creates him a costume, might I add. What are you, the Atom? He even has guns that can shrink and enlarge objects. One could say molecular expander. He has these heavy, dense boots that you can't vibrate through. They said the molecular structure is too dense. Not even your super speed molecules can dance their way out of them. He has a wrist-mounted something that can erase memories for 24 hours. He even booby-tracked the cosmic treadmill. Good grief, I've got less than 3/100ths of a second before that shockwave tears me apart. He had enough power to tear the Flash apart, or he wouldn't have said this. Even owns a time skipper, makes him capable of traveling through time, beyond time and space. It is even programmed to go in reverse self-destruction. It automatically reverse and self-destruct if anyone else but me operates the controls. That's pretty sick. During the post-crisis era, Reverse Flash gets his power from the Speed Force. It exists outside the normal multiverse. His power source is literally bigger than actual whole universes. I know, crazy, right? Eobard Thawne, crazy, right? The guy was born with 167 IQ. That's just out of the ordinary, guys. Replicated the electrochemical bath that gave Alan his power, making him gain powers in himself. Super speed abilities activated. He even used Barry's outfit to find remnants of the Speed Force in the process of studying all this science stuff. It was even stated that no one knew more about the Speed Force than him. He's so obsessed with Barry Allen, he's able to completely imitate him to where it even has people that know him really well fooled. Even able to fool Hal Jordan in the process. Back then, Green Lanterns had stupid weaknesses to yellow. He was able to use Green Lantern's weakness to yellow to escape his constructs. He can create sandstorms to blind helicopters. Stop being a butt. He's still insane. Wally even goes as far as to say he's as fast as Barry. His speed should be comparable to the top tier speedsters of this universe, considering what Wally said about him. Yet again, it states that his speed is as fast as any of us. This is what other speed people got to say about it. He says, Wally, you're talking suicide. Physically, you're no match for Thawne's speed. Like, what? But evidently, they were implying that he wasn't at his absolute peak either. It states here, I told you that fear is what's dampening your own speed, fear of replacing Barry Allen by becoming his equal. He has to overcome his mental barriers, but I don't necessarily think he's faster than Wally, but you know what I mean? Like at his prime, you know what I'm saying? Super fast people like Max Mercury admit that he's no match for him. Yep, it was literally stated. He can match the speed of Flash. Do not get this confused with Zoom and Professor Zoom, you know what I mean? AKA Hunter Zolomon. He stated he can run at near light speed. Consistent powerhouse, been able to give characters like Green Lanterns, Hal Jordan, for example, blast his stuff back, even harm characters like Hal Jordan in combat, bounced his glove construct back. He does this with a kick, just kicking power, you know. Charges this bronze statue at Green Lantern and just straight up punches Green Lantern with a battle feat, like I showed earlier. Yeah, don't be confused. He's dressed up like a Flash. Yeah, Eobard. He's like that. Throws stuff at Hal Jordan. He's battled Johnny Mercury with an elbow. Does this to Max, knocks him off the high beam. Night Jay. Blitzes Jay in the progress with the prison guards are lightweight to him. Like, why would y'all even try to fight him? Fights Jay again, does this to Jay. They scrap it out a little bit. Let me send you flying, Jay. I showed this in my Jay Garrick video, though. He hung in there, though. Don't hate on Jay. Jay is not as slow as you think, but he did indeed overpower him, broke his leg, clotheslined other speedsters. Just so fast. Trying to be Barry. He's weird. He can punch so hard walls break, obviously. Let's not forget he's even fought characters like Wally in raw skills and raw power. He's able to keep up with his speed as well. Another occasion of him giving Green Lanterns issues, causing severe harm to him, even though they're black hole level beings. Wally even says that he hits like a jackhammer. He can punch really hard. Look at these metal shards that get thrown at him. He just can break them apart. Just raw attack power. Heck, that time where Jay Garrick's helmet got thrown at him, he caught it mid-flight, dies the next attack. Stuff like that. You get another idea of their striking power. They blasting windows away with their attack power, showing they can produce a lot of force with their speed. He's able to outrun characters like Jay. Creating sonic booms with characters like this is just too easy for him. Imagine being so fast you can use every weapon like and switch between each one and attack a Green Lantern with it. Like, look, he's using Mr. Element, Mirror Master, Heat Wave. It's like, imagine putting weapon and then putting another weapon down and then grabbing the next weapon before the weapons have a chance to fall. That's what I imagine this scene would look like. To a person getting shot, looks like they're getting shot at the same time because he's switching between them so fast, the weapon doesn't have time to fall to the ground. So it's like floating. So he's just switching and pulling the trigger and repeat through all the different weapons. Okay, I'm gonna need you to stop toying with these Green Lanterns and slinging them around. We've already got the point that you're up there with them, all right? Green Lantern's attacks are literally beams of light and he can dodge them. Stuff like that. Just blitzing them with a whole bunch of constructs, gusts of wind, stuff like that. Yes, he's still wearing Flash's clothes. Even another battle feat, keeping up with the raw speed of Wally West. They even stated stalemate. They're dodging each other's attacks. They can fight so fast that they had an entire fight in a picosecond, which is 1/1,000,000th of a second. Imagine having a second divided by 1,000,000,000. That's how fast they had to fight. That is light speed combat right there. So imagine trading blows and you fighting one-on-one with a character and all of your blows, hits, and attacks last such a short amount of time that nobody even noticed that you had to fight. That's basically what this is going on. That's insanity. He's attacked Wally with his vibration punches before. It seems like they have more durability to the speed they're moving because he was able to endure an attack from Wally of light speed that hits like a light white dwarf star. Got knocked out, of course, but he was able to take this attack still, which is kind of insane, without getting shattered, showing that their durability is pretty insane too. And Reverse Flash is one of those beings, thanks to him being connected to the Speed Force, has the ability to vibrate his hand through people. It's like an attack that one could say ignores durability. I mean, because if you vibrate through somebody's durability, you can hit their major arteries inside their body, and that would be more susceptible to damage rather than like they're outside of their skin that's really durable. You know what I mean? Imagine vibrating through a Green Lantern and hitting their human flesh, because a lot of the Green Lanterns are human, you know, like Hal Jordan, Kyle Rayner, stuff like that, ignoring durability, even though they have ridiculous durability with their shields up. You still have your doubts about his power. It's like literally writer intent for him to be a threat for Barry. It's stated he's literally one of Barry's oldest and deadliest foes. He was actually a Black Flash, yeah, fighting super speed characters. He even fought Saint Walker. He over here biting Blue Lantern Flash's arms and stuff like that. And he can still generate vortexes as a Black Lantern. Yay! Look at these blue constructs. I love that blue. Saint Walker, you know, stuff like that. Taking attacks from him, stuff like that. He's one of those characters where he's had connection to the Speed Force and this thing known as the Negative Speed Force. He literally studied Barry's history firsthand. Would it be best to kill him now? I decided to study all I could before acting back in time to see when he caught his first criminal, back when Barry first used his super speed, back to the day he was struck by a lightning bolt. I studied more until I found the precise moment. This guy's so obsessed with Barry, he made sure he studied him thoroughly. He literally draws Barry out the Speed Force to create the Negative Speed Force. He stated this is how the process worked. After your historic sacrifice destroying the Antimatter's weapon, you were lost to the Speed Force. Years later, when Bart Allen's life was threatened, you emerged to help your descendant, but you left the door open. I sent you a message subliminal pulse trying to wake up what was left on your self-awareness before it faded away again, to draw you back under the auspicious guise that you were actually needed to confront a great evil. Then my most ambitious experiment began. I transformed myself into a new kind of speedster. I ran hard enough to generate enough negative energy to leave you contaminated. Run. I turned you into a weapon against your family, Barry. This negative speed force shenanigans ended up turning his former idol into Black Flash. Yeah, crazy, right? Let's talk about him with the negative speed force. This is more times where you see him with the red eyes, right? Blitzes all these speedster type characters, states you murdered Johnny Quick. I'm a big fan of him in the negative speed force because he just seems to go all in a lot more. Landing blows on Wally, Jay, Bart, and even Barry, you know, just blitz style by himself. Epicness. I mean, he even punches Wally through a bus, literally throws Bart, get off of me, multiple hits to him, eats those attacks, even though he got a nosebleed. Hot pursuit, your helmet is done. Smack. Rip Hunter, Booster Gold, Green Lantern, all get blitzed by him and they get downed. He just blitzing through Superman Zoo. Blitzes Green Lantern, punches Barry Allen, handles fodder, stuff like that. Gotta love the chokehold. Does this to Barry. By the way, this is the Reverse Flash that leads up to the Flashpoint event. Just in case those that are curious. Man, why you doing this to Thomas Wayne like that, man? That ain't even fair. Throws Barry through some concrete. He's one of those few characters that you could say counters speed steal because he can always make more speed. It states with every step he takes, he generates a negative speed force. We need to cut him off from it completely to immobilize him. A lot of you probably confused by this scan right here. He stated, well done, Superman. Your speed rivals my own. So you're probably thinking, what? Superman's got speed comparable to Reverse Flash? Wait a second though. But then he straight up states again, but when you come down to it, no one is as fast as Professor Zoom. Yeah, he's faster than Superman. I say this in all my Flash related videos. Whatever other characters can do in speed, Professor Zoom or Reverse Flash can do better. Superman has speed feats of flying light years in a very short amount of time. Professor Zoom should be faster than that. Look at this. I don't know if he means this literally, but it's stated because, you know, it's a multiversal thing. He stated, you pulled the entire speed force to himself to stop me. Barry evidently had to absorb the entire speed force to stop Reverse Flash. I don't know if he means the entire multiversal speed force, but maybe, I don't know. A big old chunk, I guess. That's kind of crazy though. I mean, there's this one time he pushes Jay Garrick so hard, messes up his aura to make him ignite into fire, consistently tagging Flash characters in raw speed. In occasions of raw speed, he's able to maintain a lead in like running speed on Wally or Barry in raw speed, showing that he's in that tier. That time he ran ahead of Barry when he was trying to enter the time stream. Also fight slugfest style. Two speedsters going at it. That time he outruns the Flash and Kid Flash. Just another occasion of raw battling. Green Lanterns who have interstellar light speed travel and have a hard time catching characters like Reverse Flash. See, this is the thing that makes Reverse Flash so crazy. He saw the accident that gave Barry his power. Imagine I could undo Barry Allen and become the only Flash ever. Mercury get blitzed, always blitzing. Barry gets blitzed, always blitzing. Fights Jay Garrick and Bart Allen at the same time, takes attacks from him, fighting them off. Fast enough to block blows from Jay Garrick, even though you gotta respect Jay Garrick from fighting him one-on-one though. His raw speed is enough to create a sonic boom just from snapping his finger. Think of a thunderclap, but he's producing so much speed he can just make sonic booms. This dude fought off every member of the Flash family, I showed you this earlier, at the same time, blitzing. Characters like Green Lantern can't even react to characters like him. It's really hard for him to even be seen. He also has timeline manipulation, like the time he traveled back in time to kill Iris. We just hop in the time string because I can. His vibrations allow resistance to having his speed stolen. But no one is going to steal my speed. No one. Resistance to speed steal. That's epic. The negative speed force in general is just complex. I mean, the speed force is already complex on its own. One of the cosmic forces. The negative speed force. Ooh, sheesh. Think of it like a cancer to the normal speed force. It states right here. I showed this panel already though. Like a cancer. For every positive, there must be a negative. Imagine having your own cosmic force to yourself. That's not fair. He's like the engine to the negative speed force. With every step I run, I generate its crimson fury. I am its engine. And my lightning poisons your family through you. It can kill Johnny Quick. He was able to make somebody the embodiment of death with the negative speed force. I brought this earlier there, but I didn't expand upon it. The negative speed force kind of is some crazy stuff. This is a very powerful force considering how strong the speed force is. For it to overtake somebody that's connected to a multiversal energy source like the speed force is kind of insane when you think of it that way. It states here, when you run, you generate the kinetic wall between the present and the barrier. It's an electrical energy that exists in every dimension, every universe, and every era. It touches every part of reality. It contains the knowledge of every place and time. The speed force is the all-encompassing Flash fact. If you don't stop Thawne, the Reverse Flash will run. His speed force will grow and continue to eat away at yours, destroy yours. You need to move, create more fuel. See Iris Lightning Rod. Here he explains more lore on it. It says it really is remarkable. The speed force is tied to so many things when you pull back the electrical curtain and see it for what it truly is. Time. All of time, existence moving through reality, kinetic energy, temporal energy, a storm of intelligence and experience that can connect me to every everything and everyone. Kind of makes sense because, yeah, it is kind of linked to time. It's like the Speed Force is bigger than one continuity. It's bigger than one timeline, a continuum. You see, this is the multiverse, right? And that's where all the different Earths, Earth 1, Earth 1 million, Earth 50 is all existing, you know, different realities, different continuities, different timelines. And outside of all those timelines that exist and all those timelines at the same time is the cosmic force of the Speed Force wall, which exists outside of all of that, which is why Thawne is saying that he feels like all of time is connected to it, because it is. That's why you can use the Speed Force to travel to any point in history, because it is in every point of history. If you was to be completely connected to the Speed Force, where you are one with the Speed Force, you would literally be omnipresent. You would know everything in the history of the universe that's happening all at once at the same time. Hopefully that's not too confusing. Yeah. That's why being connected to Speed Force just feels like you're just connected with time. I mean, he's aged people 80 years in a matter of seconds. You know, all this timeline stuff, age manipulation. He can literally steal their time. Yeah, that's pretty messed up. You get flashes of their life when he steals their time. Age beings into dust. Transform a child to an adult. Transforms to an old man. It's all this timeline stuff. He seems to have a different connection with history. He can do stuff that other Flashes can't do. It states here, altering the past is supposed to be impossible, according to every rule we know, but he can do it. He needs me alive. His Speed Force can't exist without mine. He is a walking paradox. Like, when I say paradox, this is what I mean. Even if the original timeline he's from doesn't exist, that doesn't necessarily mean he will cease to exist. Kind of crazy, ain't it? No matter what happens to Barry Allen in the past, present, or future, I will still exist. I am removed from the timeline. I exist outside of it. I can kill you in your mother's womb, or I can kill you this very second. Oh, by the way, he beats Abracadabra off screen. Another good question that people want to know. Is there a difference between pre-crisis, post-crisis, and rebirth reverse Flash? I don't really technically think there's a difference between them because all this timeline manipulation stuff, the fact that he's a living paradox with different histories and different continuities. Because the Flash characters are kind of really confusing because one could say Wally is the same Wally from the past. Even in Rebirth, one could say Barry is the same Barry from pre-crisis because they're Speed Force characters. It's kind of hard to retcon them permanently from the timeline. But in Raw Speed, just from him being able to rival characters like Wally West and Barry consistently throughout any pretty much continuity, he has to be faster than characters like Highfather and Darkseid, for example. They have stupid feats like flying from Earth all the way to the edge of the freaking universe. They're top tier Skyfather tier characters, but they're not necessarily Speedster type characters, and characters that are not Speed Force users can move this fast. And if we assume Reverse Flash is faster than characters like Highfather, in just the aspect of raw speed, of course, that would make him faster than 50 quintillion times the speed of light, which is a speed characters that are not even Speed Force users, but are still top tier in the universe, obviously, right? Darkseid and Highfather are Skyfathers, obviously. But even characters that are not necessarily Speed Force users can move like this. They should even be faster because Wally West should be faster than these guys. Reverse Flash has consistently shown in this video to rival Wally West in battles, even characters like Barry, and even DC has writer intent for all these statements, stating out Wally's mouth and stuff like that, or even Barry's mouth. This is more recent, but this is their opinion on how the speed works. Now you got Wally West at number 1, Barry Allen at number 2, and you got Reverse Flash right there at number 3. So he's pretty high up there on the writer intent scale, I would say. It all kind of does match up. Like I said, they're all kind of, one could say, comparable. Let's not forget he can kill people in 1,000th of a second. That one time he mind swapped with Barry across centuries. Does this to Green Lantern characters. I already showed this with Superwoman. Kind of humiliates Flash in this particular occasion. In the Rebirth era, he's still causing ruckus, like this the brand new stuff. That's why the art looks so crispy. He snaps Godspeed's neck in this occasion, dodges attacks from Grodd, you know, just raw speed, catch bullets, rips apart Flashpoint Batman's letters, dodging attacks from other speedsters like Wallace West. I don't want to just go over every feat known to man just because they exist, but you get the point. Even in the new Rebirth era, he's still on these guys' level. This is what Barry has to say about Thawne. He's always been fast, faster than Wally, faster than me. It's so funny how moments to like a normal human could feel like days to a speedster. Oh yeah, by the way, he can do thunderclaps. But I will admit, his intelligence is ridiculous. How you be this fast and be this intelligent? He manipulated the timeline in such a way to purposely create other speedster beings. It states here, so I changed the fate of Hunter Zolomon. I gave the clown the gun that set Hunter on the path of becoming Zoom. Then I killed Augustus Hart's brother, planting the black hole evidence so he'd go to his good buddy, the CSI, and eventually become Godspeed. Then I'd return to the future and see the change in the museum. So if my plan was working, did you really think killing your mother was the end? This should be a move on the video game. Snap your finger, sonic boom. And when he was pretending to be the Flash, he fought Jay Garrick. They had like a little slugfest kind of overpowered him in this occasion. And yes, he does indeed have lightning manipulation. He has like a voice he can speak with a certain frequency, cause speedsters to make mistakes in Rebirth. Bruh, it scans like this is why I think they're basically the same guy. Post-crisis, pre-crisis, Like it states here, he has the memories of all that stuff. It's like he's the same guy. You know what I'm saying? Also scans like this. He pretty much brings up all the events of the Flashpoint stuff in Rebirth. So that's why I say it's just the same guy. It just seems like that. He doesn't even seem to be threatened by death because of him being like the nature of a living paradox. A living paradox as in he doesn't have a past or future in this. He just exists. More lore of him being a living paradox. He sees all the deaths he's had, the different retcons. He's just the same guy. Barry snaps my neck. Black Lantern ring is taken from me. Thomas Wayne's blade pierces my back. Wally West tries to save me, but it's too late. I feel God's touch. My body disintegrates as Iris West shoots me from behind. I experienced them all at the same time, but it doesn't matter because I am always. One could say this is kind of like a form of immortality. He can never really truly die because he's just like a living paradox, right? You just never know how he's going to come back later. One could say it could be plot convenience also. You know, and yes, his lightning can fry Batman's computer. Let me stop. But guys, that's just about gonna do it. Did you know Reverse Flash was this strong? I'm pretty sure you did. He rivals the fastest beings in the universe consecutively. He has to be on a certain level like this. I would definitely say where he ranges at, he is in that Superman or Wonder Woman ranges. If I was to say where would he range, just like other Flash characters like Wally and Barry is in those ranges. Of course, he can't lift as much as these guys, obviously, and Superman can lift the planet. He can't lift it, but that doesn't really matter at all because he can punch at light speed, which can literally create infinite mass, infinite amount of power. I'm not doing a no limits fallacy, but yeah, he can punch with black hole levels of power at least, or punching a planet apart if he felt like it, just because of his punching power, right? Durability seems to rise up when he's moving, stuff like that. But what do you guys think? Did you guys know that he was this strong? I'm pretty sure you did. Are you tired of the Flash video so far? Let me know. Post some comments down below. Let me know what you all think.